legal team will just see hope we get some time to look at the cases. Because some of the cases, like at the time of we someone driving the other county was arrested. That person was somebody down someone and so that's basically how the program is back then. Our response is short is to stop use crime in the life of minority. Like I said, minority don't
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Liberia Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek Yale, and we are here at the Francis J. Miles Recreational Center in Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia. And we're bringing you live coverage of a gun violence and substance abuse forum held by the Minority Center for Participation and Empowerment. This program will feature, or the highlight of this program is a panel discussion that will feature the 185th PA State District Representative Regina Young, and also PA 101st District Representative Johanna McClinton will be here. And again, this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. This discussion carries the theme alternative means to reduce crimes in the Philadelphia area other than detention and arrest. Again, my name is Derek Yale, and this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network.
Oh, yeah, you want to introduce them? Oh, yeah, we introduced ourselves and Officer Michelle. And Saya. Okay, thank you. Sheila myself had a meeting with Captain Green some times ago, and we told him about this program, but he said he would be on Easter break, and while he's away, he will ensure that Officer Michelle comes. But I think Officer Michelle, sorry for the break in communication. I understand you're not here for long. Yeah, but it's
Easter egg hunt. Yes.
Okay. And we are also privileged to, in this gallery, to have a giant lady of our African community, the woman who makes things happen, former councilwoman and chair on the Mayor Commission African Affairs, African and Caribbean Affairs, is Jenny Blackwell. Welcome. Sure.
So actually, I want to offer some remarks since you open up the floor. So thank you. I think this is a great opportunity. I think the program is great. I think it's a great concept. I would like to also say that we have been, prior to this role, I'm a former educator, former social service worker, and I actually had a nonprofit on the other side of this building. And my last job before this was working for the Mayor's Office of Education. And so the reason why I think it's important for you all to know that, because if you're talking about government and policing and how we work together, I can stand here and say, fortunately, I don't think we all have enough information, because the things that you say don't exist absolutely exist. We have a lot of programs that for people, whether they are struggling with tutoring, whether they're struggling with after school programs, and even our policing. There's a lot of preventive programs. Police officers don't just lock you up. Police officers enforce the law, and they also have a lot of preventive programs. Case in point, our very own 12th District Officer Mitchell has a program called Cops and Kids. So he's been operating in that program for years. PDAC deals with the community. So we as entities and systems really work hard on creating systems and programs and resources for everybody. But it's really our responsibility as a collective to be involved. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I'm curious to learn, outside of your own community programs that you and organizations, how much do you know about what already exists around you? There's a lot. And I think the disconnect really is, well, we're not pushing ourselves to grow in spaces that are unfamiliar. We don't know, so we don't think they exist. So I think, in my experience, what I would say is gun violence is a huge issue. But guess what? It doesn't start at government. It starts at the community. So what are we already doing in our community as not only members, but organizations, parents, aunties, uncles, dads? What are we already doing? Because this issue that we're having as it relates to substance abuse, gun violence, and I know you mentioned the situation on 70th and Elmwood, there's things we can do on the community level right now. We don't have to wait until we're titled or associated to be activated. So I am, again, just asking that as we're thinking about ways to come together, let's start with already exists. And why are we not already a part of something that already exists? And what are the pieces that are missing to help it grow? In Philadelphia, I can speak freely and say that we're saturated with a lot of programs. The money is there on the federal level, state level, city level. The money is there. And then people are saying, well, you know what? We need more programs. I don't think we need more programs. And I'm saying that as a mom, as a government official, as a black woman here in Southwest Philly. I think we need people working together to build what we already have. There's not enough people working together. Having a name and a program in a building means what? We have a lot of those. How effective are those? And if you think there's something missing, then it's all of our responsibility to be involved. So I felt compelled to say this because I think far too often too much misinformation is given out. There's not enough people saying, well, no, that's not true. It's okay to say that's not true. It's okay if we're mistaken. It's okay if we're misinformed. But it's not okay to stay that way. So I'm open always to seeing how we're going to build a community because it takes all of us. We have to stop operating in silos, so it definitely takes all of us. So I'm glad that we have some of my colleagues out here from Delaware County as well, because to your point, it's bigger than Philly. This is a worldwide issue. I don't know when the last time you turned on your TV, but everybody's going through it right now. So it's all of our responsibility to help each other and empower and sharpen each other. And I'm saying that not only as a state rep. This isn't my area. This is Leader McClinton's, but you invited me, so I'm here. But I would say wherever you go, you have to be able to be willing and open to help somebody else. So that's my point. Thanks.
Good morning again. Some people are new. I'm Cecilia Dixon. I'm the president of Women on Substance of Delaware Valley, and I'm also an owner of an employment agency, Express Employment Professionals, and I service part of Delaware County and part of Chester County, and it's a very good initiative that you have started. And I want to just put, some piece to it. I am a Liberian, and I was fortunate to have had the opportunity to own a staffing agency, and I call it a second chance staffing agency also. We get towards everybody. And me being a minority, I'm working to help minority. And I'm close to Chester. We all know people have stigmatized in Chester, drugs and incarceration and all of that. And sometimes they come to my office right from jail looking for an employment. And fortunately, I have a platform where some of my clients do not ask for background. So I gave them a second chance. and help to put them to work. And sometimes they go to those jobs and they perform so well and they are hired. So this is another opportunity. If you don't know about it, I have my card here. If you want to know more about it, please contact me. I can give you my card so that people who are in this kind of situation can reach out to me. I am not promising the world, but I have clients who will give these people second chances, because sometimes they are in jail, they learn new trades, they learn new opportunities, and they come out, and some of those clients, they really need people like that to further their businesses. So, that's why saying that people come from jail and drug addict, and some, I just want to give a quick story. There was a guy who came from jail and came to my office, and I offered him a job, and he was all tattered when he came in. And after 6 months of working with this client, he walked into my office and said, "Come outside." And I was wondering, what is that? And he said, "I just bought me a car." And that was so thrilling. I felt so fulfilled, helping someone to achieve. And I looked at him, he's all now groomed and rehabilitating himself to be a useful citizen in the community. So as our representative has said, this is a collective effort. We can also call, get together, find resources, find the facts, and know what what is available in our community, that we can help others to become citizen and a good citizen and acceptable, what is acceptable also in our community. So I just want to share this so that if you have any, if you know anybody who is in this situation and looking for opportunities, you can send them my way too. Thank you.
We have somebody to make a comment?
Make a comment.
Okay, sure.
Hello, everybody. I am James Jensen. I am one of the board members of the Minority Center. Just as Mr. Wisner said, there's a lot of problem within Philadelphia, so to speak, the United States, when it comes to gun violence. It hurts every day. Sometimes when you wake up and you hear someone is being killed. The issue of drugs is a serious matter around us here. So the effort is to see how we all can help to cure the problem. But sometimes there are issues around here. And let me just share a short story of what happens to myself. I have just gotten a car from a dealership and I'm driving on Pasillon. And when I look, I'm so glad that the officer is here. There was 3 police cars that came around me. The first one came and stopped at the front. The other one came and stopped on the other side. The other one came and stopped at the back. And the officer asked me to get off the car. And I'm wondering what has happened. Now, as peaceful as I was, I couldn't tussle with the police officer. I stepped off the car. And as soon as I stepped off the car, what did he do? He said to me that someone else and I stole the car. So I'm asking myself, and good enough, I wasn't far from the dealership. The officer did not ask me for my ID. He did not ask me for any information. He only asked me to get off the car. So I politely walked off the car. When I walked off the car, he didn't ask me anything. He took my hands and put my hand behind me. What did he do? He cuffed me. And therefrom, I politely, just as what has happened, he took me in the officer's car, and I was in there, and they went to my car. And they searched my car, nothing happened. So he came back to his car and then asked me for my ID. I said, but if you are asking for my ID, probably you would have cuffed me. So he said, well, I'm so sorry. We got to tell that the car, there was 2 guys who stole the car. So then, what happened? I was the victim. So he let me go. I was so scared. I said, wow, what has happened? Maybe there's some other information that I'm not aware of. So I went to the dealership and I asked, is there any problem with this car? He said, no, I mean, there's nothing, no problem. The car is in your name. He took the document, he went in the system and checked the system. He said, there's nothing. So then, he said, you can go. There's no problem with this car. All I'm saying, sometimes we know the officers have their job to do. And because of the crime rate in the society, they are fighting to fight crime. But sometimes it's also good because sometimes the innocent person may suffer as a result of their own effort. Again, we all know the situation around here. So in that case, what could I do? Do I go and say I'm going to sue an officer? Now, when people move in a society like this, there are a lot of problems. There are some peaceful people who want to adjust to the society. And sometimes just someone will say, by the look of the color, you look suspicious in the eyes of some people. So when you fight her and you drive in a car, somebody just sees you, he thinks otherwise. There's nothing wrong with an officer to suspect anybody of being involved in any crime. But I think sometimes it's good that thorough investigation is done. Sometimes just driving around. I mean, I went to Penn State. I got a master's degree in law. I'm trying to see how I can fit in the society. But when you have this kind of experience, it just speaks a lot of volume. So we joined the Minority Center to see how we all can help the system. Can I contribute? I would want to practice law here. But how do I do that? It's not just you wake up and get in the courtroom and practice law. So sometimes you see that lawyer come from Africa, he's fighting to get into the society. You have to go to law school and meet all of the criteria and then begin to practice law here. It's not just going to happen overnight. Sometimes you will see a lawyer doing something of a little on a table job or doing something that he shouldn't be doing. So when all these things take place, sometimes it affects society, it affects our country, America, that we find ourselves in. So the Minority Center, we are here to help. It's not just about us here, but we are thinking about the larger society. How can we help the larger society in any way possible? So we have decided to join the Minority Center to see how we can help. So helping the society is all of us, our business, not just the officers alone. The officers without us, they cannot be perfect in doing that job. So I thought to put this out, perhaps you can get the picture of why we are here. So the Minority Center is here to see how we all can help our society, the United States of America. Thank you so much.
Oh, go ahead.
Good morning again, or good afternoon. So with us here today, we have a victim mother here. She is part of our group, the Dacoity Sisters group. And I would like to call her out to just share her little story. And I will ask our Dacoity Sisters to please stand up with our sister as she share her story. Sister Mimi, please come over. Madam VP, Madam Secretary, please come over and support our sister. Yeah, come on. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Really, I'm now a public speaker. But I just want to say a little thing about the gun violence. I'm one of the victims of gun violence. My son was gunned down on June 27, 2020. My only son. I struggled to bring my son here. I was young when I had my son. And we struggled through the war in Liberia. And we made it to America just to see my son gunned down. It's the same gun violence we are talking about. With the mothers, we have to do something. Charity begins at home. We got to talk to our children about gun. When I had my son, I never bought him a play gun. Never in my life. I didn't even buy him a water gun because I don't want him to get used to gun. My son was a peaceful boy. His own friend that I fed with my food killed him. So I just want to say to all the mothers, we have to start from home. We have to talk to our kids. Killing your friends, killing innocent people is not good. We have to do something. We can't just leave it with the government to say, oh, the police got to do this or do that. We the mothers, we have to do something. We have to teach our children about gun. We have to talk to them. So I'm here today to let all the mothers know that we have to talk to our children. We shouldn't depend only on the police alone or the government. You gotta do something. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry for crying.
Well, thank you very much. The problems in our community are enormous. You may not know. There are a lot of people's stories you have not heard all over the place. And the services are here, but sometimes the services do not reach certain areas. So maybe at some point we need to collaborate, because there are certain people in certain communities are not receiving these services. The services are there. They got a lot of organizations, but certain groups are not receiving these services. And the last time I was with this guy with Fellowship Love, Dr. Wilson, he said, look, there are organizations here, but maybe we need more. We need more of these organizations to reach out. So where your organization can reach, my organization cannot reach, we need to do that. We need to more. But there are problems. Listen to Anthony Jameson's story. It's happened. Nobody should to dispute this. This thing happened. And we need to work together to make things happen. Once they see your color, to look at you different. And we need to help the government. So we are not encouraging our young men to cause trouble. No. We are creating programs which they can work with us in our program. So as you see, our name is Minority Center for Participation in Power. Once you participate with us, and you get empowered. And the sister story, I attended the funeral services, and just recently again, as we speak, there's another Liberian lady who is attending a funeral service of her son who was shot. Yeah. Oh, so you see that again? So there's a funeral service going on right now for another young man who also shot. God. So what can we do? This forum is a stakeholder forum to discuss the issue. We don't want to point blame on any group, but we need to come out and discuss. And we need most of these forums to be held so that we can meet and discuss the issues. What the issues are. Yes. We need to discuss the issue. The young man who's speaking of gun violence will be coming. Not gun violence, but substance abuse is almost in the corner. But while he's on his way, we need people to speak. There's a stakeholder. You want to say something?
Good afternoon once again. My name is Howard Waller. I was sitting and I heard a lot of speakers giving their inputs, but something came to mind. This is just a suggestion that I want to make. I think the problem we are facing now is what? Lack of awareness. Lack of awareness. So what I'm urging state representatives or government officials to do in collaboration with the citizens is to create opportunities for our youth. Like, say, for example, somebody was just speaking, somebody came from prison, and then he went to look for a job. Because he has a record on, he has a criminal record, he can find a job to do. So what does he do? He will resort to what? Things that will benefit him. Resort to gun violence. Because he want to do things to appease himself. So I'm kind of appealing to state representatives, government officials, citizens and collaborators, so we can come together and find or create an opportunity for our youth. So the problem is what? There is lack of awareness. So I'm urging that we can come together to create this awareness. So I want to thank you.
See, I can't talk because I'm journalist. Okay, hi everybody. It's good to be part of this great initiative, and I want to say we live in Philadelphia. We live in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia as a community. We don't really have the means to actually give information out to folks. So we have something called the LRTN. We started this 2018, and we've actually been doing a great work in the community. We want to say thanks to Alaska for inviting us to come over here. But this is something that we need to take seriously. When I hit that button on that thing and go live, it pop up on all the Africans you know here on the phone. They got the opportunity to actually see exactly what is going on. Your story. The individual that just died was the one that killed your son. This is a serious problem in the community. How do we get the information out? How do we educate our young ones? How do we bring folks over? I don't know. This is something that it's hard to really beat in this gallery. And yeah, somebody child died, and the individual who killed the child just got shot too. There's a whole lot going on. We had a permanent guy who they call Jerry Yokbo. Son got shot here, you know. And I've been going to a lot of funerals in the community. So this is something good. I want to say shout out to the minority or center that is coming up with this great initiative. We need to come together. We need to do something in the community. And I mean, we are open. The LRTN is open. Anything you see that is going on, that you want us to know, you want folks to know exactly what's going on, contact us. Call us. We're all available. We're always available. Okay? We have the studio. It's located in the Northeast. We're talking right now, but we got a lot of folks to work, people doing different things. They can't be here, but guess what? They're watching. And they're actually seeing what's going on here. So we need to work together. We need to come together and coordinate and make things to happen in the community. So it's good to be here. And I have some card. If you want it, you let me know. If there's any way we can help, work along with you, we are open to that. Thank you very much.
I'm so sorry. I have to leave. Something else just popped up on my calendar. But I will say to your question, collaboration is key. We do have the resources. If I did not give you a card, you can definitely grab one of my cards. And you have some amazing people here. Vofi just joined us from Makana. So it starts with the community. It starts in the home. Sorry for your loss, Mom, because it does start with the home. And then we kick it up to community organizations such as what the Minority Center is trying to create. And I know what Akana has been doing for years. Then it started, then in the next level of city, which is what our former Councilwoman Janie Blackwell can attest to. We have a lot of work to do in the city. And then we work in collaboration with our systems such as the police. And like I said, they have a lot of preventive programs that exist right now, real time. And then we will kick it up to the state with our office and the state senator's office and then our congresswoman's office. But I will say the reason why I want to make sure everybody have our cards is because resources are low. I mean, if you're not aware, it's hard to find out where to go to. But you have the people right here. I'm government. I represent the entire state. So if I don't know, and if our police officers don't know, and if our organizations who operate in the community don't know, and our city council people don't know, then I want to challenge everybody here. Have you asked any of us? Because it's easy to ask a neighbor and they say, well, I don't know. Well, I don't really know. You don't go to meetings, you don't know. But if you look on our website, I will tell you there's so many jobs right now. There's more jobs out here hiring people with records than ever before. They're there. But guess what? There's more jobs than people filling the jobs right now. So we have to do a better job at helping our people by not enabling our people, but empowering them with the information, making sure that you have the resources. You might have a record, but guess what? You can still get a job. You can still help the community. We have to hold our people accountable. That's the word of the day, accountability. And so with that, I have to leave, but if you need my card, I will leave it with Sheila and you can get the card. Job opportunities, resources, collaboration, we're all here for it, but we have to learn how to empower each other. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Representative Young. And that's why the Minority Center is about. We will link you to resources. Since that's a good story she said, because there are a lot of young men today who are looking for a job and they have records. So we get to Representative Young. She will give her the information. They will share with our minority men who have records and want job. Thank you for that. While we're speaking, Mr. Celestro walking, and he is the former chair of the Mayor Commission on African and Caribbean Affairs. You understand something? Yeah, come. One second. Okay, go ahead. Want to say something yet? Want to say or not yet? Our correction officer is going to say.
Okay, hi to everyone. I work in the prison. You come to realize that 90% of our population overwork are getting because of the boss. And most of them serve their term. You'll find out that in less than a month, they're back in the prison. And we'll be like, damn, I can't believe he's back here. Or CEO, summer, nowhere to go. So I went to 7-Eleven.
Good afternoon again. This is Liberia Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek Yale, and we're still here at the Minority Center, the Gun Violence Forum, and we're here with PA State, the 185th District Representative Regina Young. And welcome to our microphone.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate the offer.
Thank you. And as you know, the theme of this program is alternative means to reduce gun violence in the communities. And you mentioned during your presentation that there are programs that already do exist, and it's just the information. People do not have access to the information. What do you think can be done for that info, for those programs? People can have access to these programs, and that the information can get to the people that are mainly affected.
All right, so point of correction, I think people definitely have access to the information. They just have to become aware of it. And instead of relying on neighbors, I think it's always important to go to your city systems, your state government offices, because we usually have a bunch of information to share from community. If people are not comfortable or knowledgeable of different community groups, well, just know that your city systems always have information to share.
Okay. And also, to the theme of alternative means to reduce violence other than arresting and detaining, what would be your suggestion to that? What are some other means to end reduce gun violence in the city?
So, arresting and detaining in relationships to reducing gun violence? So, they're two different things. Officers have to enforce the law. That's the bottom line. So, our job on the preventive end, and again, the police does have preventive measures and preventive programs to help keep people off the streets or deter them from the streets. But if people insist on going that route, well, then the officers have to enforce. That's what they're trained to do, enforce. Other people like us are trained to help provide access and resources so that people do have alternatives. There's a lot of alternatives. People have to be aware of it, and people have to seek out alternatives, and they have to come outside of their comfort and finding those spaces. But like I said, our offices, all of your city and municipal and system offices have resources to provide.
Okay. And this program, my last question to you, this program is being held by Minority Center for Empowerment. So to what extent do you think a program like this will actually help positively towards the goal of reducing crime in Philadelphia?
So, like I shared in my presentation to the group, I think there's several of these type of programs that exist. So I'm not sure how unique this one might offer. However, collaboration is key. I am someone who understands that we're saturated with various programs, and people believe their program is the best. But I will say the best program is collaboration. So if groups can work together and fill each other's voids, then the community wins.
All right. Thank you so much, Representative Regina Young, for joining our camera.
Pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. Welcome back. My name is Derek, and this is Liberia Radio and Television Network. That was the state representative, Representative Regina Young. Thank you.
Yes. Wait. Okay. While we're speaking, our speaker is here already. I know we said 11:45, but Suleiman Hassan is our substance abuse speaker. So at this time he can speak, then we can move forward. Hassan.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Lord done bless us with a nice day, right? Y'all not hot, right? Y'all just right in the middle, right? Comfortable. I'd like to introduce myself. Is this mic on? No? Hello? Oh, okay. My name is Suleiman Hassan. I grew up in West Philadelphia all my life. Can I take this off? Yes? Okay. No, don't need it. Can y'all hear me? Okay. So listen, I just want to give you guys. Yeah, I like that better. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody who's out here. James Blackwell. I don't know anybody else, but thank you, everybody.
They can hear you, but it's for the line.
Okay, so give you a little background of myself. I grew up in West Philadelphia. My mother had 9 kids. I'm a 80s baby, as they say. And during the 80s, they had a very bad crack epidemic that was going on throughout the whole city and throughout the whole country. Growing up myself in those kind of conditions with 9 kids, I was subjected to the outcome of living with a mother, single parent, being addicted to drugs and alcohol, which led me to experience my first childhood trauma. At 6 years old, my mother left my father, in which I grew up in the shelter after that for 1 year. We stayed in that shelter for 1 year, and then we moved into a home in which the home that we moved in, we had structure, we had responsibility. My mother was very hands-on. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning all these things, because we are witnessing what's not being taught at homes today on why we have all this crime and violence. But for me, with my experience, once we moved into that home, all rules went out the window for me. There were no home-cooked meals. There were no whoopings. There were no, you be in the house at this time. I'm running the streets at 7, 8, 9 years old. I didn't have any curfew, but I also didn't have anyone to turn to. I didn't have counseling. I didn't have, people to sit down and say, hey, Suleiman, let me help you. And the reason why I mention these things, because all of us have a responsibility today as adults and parents and grandparents and brothers and sisters and uncles and cousins to reach out to the youth. Now, from me growing up and experiencing these things, I didn't realize that I was developing childhood trauma. I didn't know what they're experiencing. They don't know anything about counseling. They feel like they have no one to talk to, because at that age when I was young, I had too many people talking at me and not to me. So we have to start talking to the kids and not talking at them. Because when I got to a certain age, I came across some adults that cared about me, and instead of laying me out about my behavior, not knowing about my past, they started talking to me and not at me. But at the age of 13, I started smoking weed. I wanted to hang with the in crowd. But I also was dying inside because I didn't have a father. I didn't have home-cooked meals. I didn't have someone that said, hey, Suleiman, let me help you. What's wrong with you today? Are you okay today? So we have to be that today for these kids today. So after that, I wound up getting into crime. My first addiction was weed and stealing cars. That was my thing. At 13 years old, it was my outlet. Every time I got mad or frustrated, I wanted to go smoke some weed and go steal a car, not knowing that deep down inside it was the trauma that I was experiencing of not having a father, of having a mother that's addicted to drugs and alcohol, which today a lot of these parents are addicted to opiates today, pills, marijuana that's laced with fentanyl, not knowing that they're teaching their kids on how to be addicts. I learned how to drink by watching my father. Not my real father, but my mother's boyfriend. He was a father figure. And I thought this is what I needed to do. So that's what I started to consume. But what I realized at 13, 14 years old, that when I drunk this alcohol, when I smoked this weed, and I steal that car, everything I felt from growing up was out the window. So a lot of these kids are medicating themselves through violence. They're medicating themselves with drugs and alcohol because they don't have no outlet. I wound up getting arrested at the age of 14, not coming home until I was 17 years old. I came home at 17, had my first baby. 17 years old, I had to drop out of high school. I didn't go back to smoking weed. I didn't go back to drinking at that time, but I still was dying inside. I still was crying inside of not having a father, of having a mother that was addicted to drugs and alcohol, of growing up being bullied, not having all the popular things in my life, which in turn eventually started leading me to drinking again, because when I came out in the streets, they didn't set up no counseling for me. They didn't set up anything, and I also didn't have nobody to have my back to say, Suleiman, this is the way you go. So I turned to drugs and alcohol again. Now, I wasn't deep into drugs and alcohol, but it started. But then at the age of 21, the child that I found out wasn't mine, it broke me. That's when I broke and I turned to alcohol every day. All my 20s, I was in and out of incarceration. I was in and out of rehabs. I'm drinking every day, and it all goes back to my childhood trauma because no one addressed it me then to teach me how to cope, to deal with problems and issues as an adult. See, what we witnessing here in Philadelphia, if we don't do something now, it's only going to get worse. Imagine the thousands of children throughout Philadelphia, they are going through what they're going through because they don't have no outlet to go. They don't know where to go to express themselves, to be children, because at a young age, they too busy trying to survive and be adults like I did. At 6 years old, 7 years old, just to take it back, we had no food. I remember my mother going on 52nd Street. Everybody know the 123 Center. She get $1,500 in stamps because she had 9 kids as a single mother, and she'll go food shopping. That night, the whole house is filled with food and joy and love. We was happy we had a meal, but the next morning, everything is sold. You know what that did to me? But thank God we lived across the street on 48th and Parish back in the 1987 and 88. It was called Shopping Bag. So we would go over there to carry bags, but make some money. But sometimes days was like, you know, a little hard. Some days it's raining and snowing. We couldn't get out there. But the back of the store, it was a truck used to come there because they used to put the food through the store that way. So some of the truck drivers knew it was a parent over there with 9 kids that was addicted to drugs and alcohol, so they would put food on the wall. But some days that truck wasn't there, but it was a dumpster. What y'all think I had to do? And I went through all this. And it only led me to more trauma on top of more trauma. But had I had someone, matter of fact, it was a young lady at the time, her name was Miss Browner. She was a school counselor. School counselors are very important, especially if they care. She took time out. Because in 1989, they implemented that all children had to wear uniform, and it wasn't enforced, but she came to my house. She made sure we had food. She took all of us to go get uniforms. She was so special. God rest her soul, Miss Brown. But it's always the little things. You got to remember, you got to do the little things. It's the little things that help these children today. So I'm here today at 8 years clean of drugs and alcohol. 8 years clean of drugs and alcohol. See, I was the guy waking up down Delaware Avenue with no shoes on and no shirt, not remembering how I got there. I had to walk from Delaware Avenue to 30th Street Station because I lived on Chestnut Hill, abusing my own family because they had to see what I had to go through because I didn't know that I could go get help. Getting on the train, soaking wet, being woken up by the sound of lightning, don't even know how I got there to go home to get on the regional rail. But today I can stand here and say I got 8 years clean. I went into rehab in 2013. I finally got tired. I said, God, what's wrong with me? Matter of fact, I said this prayer, and I'm going to share this prayer with you guys that I said, God, because after I stopped saying, God, help me, please help me out of this. Oh, I'm going to stop. Y'all know how it go. We got broken prayer, knowing darn well I'm going to do it again. I stopped all that. I said, you know something, God, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep using and keep using and keep using until I kill myself. But I said, God, if you got a plan for me. I said, God, if you got a place for me in this world, if I got a shot to make it to Jannah, if I got a shot to make it to paradise, to the kingdom of the Lord, please can you remove this disease from me? 3 months later after that prayer, I kept on going. I kept getting high, but one day I woke up. I started putting on my clothes for work. God said, not today. What I'm talking about is trauma. What I'm talking about is, these kids today, they need help. They need God. God help me. What are we teaching these kids today? But God removed that from me. I sat on that bed. I went into rehab, and I never looked back. But since then, I got out of rehab after 30 days. They told me don't come back to speak. They said you can't come back for 30 days now. I was back. I got out on Sunday. I was back that Sunday. And I've been speaking and helping people come back to reality, to life, so they can come out here and be productive citizens for society again. So they can be parents again, so they can be aunts and uncles and mentors, brothers and sisters and cousins, so they can help these youth out here and reach back, so they can help another family and they can build another business. They can go and get hope throughout the world. And during that course of time, I started a nonprofit organization with services to communities that are suffering with the disease of addiction. It's called Soldiers for Recovery. I'm up in Kensington every Monday. I'm out there helping people find themselves so they can get help to help somebody else. And on top of it, the Lord has blessed me to start another business because I'm a business owner now, as well as a homeowner now, as well as a grandfather, as well as a mentor. So now I'm in the schools. Thank God. Now I'm in the schools. I did my first school. It's called Addiction to Recovery, where I set up a homeless encampment. I got backdrops. And I'm in the box and I'm dressed like a homeless person. I have a young man that opens up for me. And once he finished, because it relates to what I got to say, and I come out that box and the students, they love it. You don't know the look in their eyes. They say, you don't know the look in their eyes after I'm finished talking to them. How many of them done walked up to me and said they will never use. A matter of fact, a parent called me, one of my clients, because I'm a barber. He said, yo, you was at my son's school. And he was just talking about smoking weed. But he came home and he said he saw you at his school. And I'm not using no more. I'm not even going to do it. See, that's what God had planned for me. That's why, and I thank the Lord for taking me through everything that I went through today, because I can touch on everything, because there's nothing that I ain't been through yet. It's nothing that didn't happen to me yet. I did my first school. I did another school. And if anybody can help me get into more schools to get in front of these children so we can help save these lives, so these kids can be better than us. Because they are tired a lot of them are crying inside, and they need people to tell them that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to come and talk to somebody. I also have a plan of action set up where it's an 8-week program, which is an 8-week program that I'll come and sit with the students that are dealing with childhood trauma, that are dealing with drugs and alcohol, that I can come once a week to these schools and sit with the children and educate them about the disease of addiction. Because we are losing this battle with the youth. Young lady, 21 years old, when was it, last month? She hit the 2 officers? Huh? 21, she's fresh out of high school. Hit the 2 officers and a civilian. This is a child. 2 weeks ago, a young woman died. 13 years old out there in Minnesota, overdosed. Last month, one of the students had fentanyl in his bag, put it in the ventilator to hide it, and went through the whole system. All the elementary school students, mostly all of them, had to get took to the hospital. What I'm talking about is they need help. And I know if they hear my story, we can help save someone, but the power is in you guys' hands. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate you guys' time.
At this time, we have 2 panels here. We have the panel here. We want to listen to, maybe we'll listen to our panel to make some comments, then we can ask questions. So we are fortunate to also have Mr. Fofi Kamara, a prominent man in our African Liberian community, who is also here, and Mr. Strader and former Councilman Blackwell. So at this time, we want to hear from you guys. Say something, and from there we can ask questions. But this young man has said something, and it's touching. Do you want to hear comments from you? Then maybe the participant can come with input.
First of all, I want to congratulate Brother Whistler, and in fact, I want to call you Brother Bernard. You don't know my name, you will call me Kamara. No, he said Fofi Kamara. So that's a typical Liberian behavior. Every Mandingo man is Sekou or Kamara. So, all right. I want to thank you, Brother Whistling, for a wonderful program put together. And I've known you forever, and I want to extend a special recognition to the women here, or what they call women of substance, and is that Kunobo? Niawo? Yeah, the president of the Niawo people in America, Miss Beatrice Swain. Yeah, and my sister over there. The what? The Conti sisters. We gotta know you all. We gotta know you all. And you know, the issues are completely different, but the impact is the same. We who came to this part of the world from a trauma-stricken war environment, our issues are embedded in a different reality. But what I want us to do is to support each other. We have to support each other. Some of the issues we are facing in our community, like me at Akana, I work around the clock, 7 days a week. And I go to bed very early, but by 8:30 to 9 o'clock, I'm still getting calls when I get home. I have committed my own life to the at least the redemption of our people. Generally, we now call them the African diaspora people. So Akana is, I can say, is the largest non-profit organization in Pennsylvania that is focused on our community, the African and the Caribbean people. And now we begin to just work across the aisle and working as African black people. So what Mr. Wisner is doing is unique, and we need to support him. But we cannot support him if we don't have a structured design to respond to the issue he had identified. I see you ladies are his friends. Let's work together. I tell you one thing, the biggest problem in our own Liberian community is the ethnic divide, the ethnic social divide, and we are celebrating Liberia 200 years, but today the Honorable Newman Bowie is in town. She's going to be we're going to be showing Playing the Devil Back to Hell. If you see that film, it tells you, what is the basis of our own trauma. But I just want to say to you all that we have to work together. I realized in the latest time that the biggest problem, many of the folks sitting here are Liberian. I want to tell you the biggest problem I've identified in my life is the jealousy within Liberian community. The jealousy within Liberian community is tearing us apart. It makes us, though we are the largest single African community in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, we are not touching what the Ethiopians are doing. We are not touching what the Sudanese are doing. There are Liberian Association leadership that could have been here to listen to brother with all of what they say we're doing in town today. I'm busy. I woke up this morning. I had an interview at immigration. I had to take somebody to defend them. But this program was on my schedule. I saw it very important to be here to support the brother. But if I say I'm too big, he did not call me early enough, then you know what will happen? I will start saying the wrong word to my partners here, or Stan Strutter and Jenny Blackwell. I will start saying the wrong word to them. And the lady that is the House of Representative, or that spoke earlier, is a personal friend of mine. In fact, she used to work for Akana before she became a representative. And I will start saying the wrong thing to Senator Williams because I have access to him. I will start saying the wrong thing to Councilwoman Gaudier or Kenyatta Johnson. And you know what it does? It takes away from our community. That's all it does for Vofi Jabate, if that is the way I want to go. We got some brilliant people in our community. But the jealousy that we're dealing with in our community is what is keeping Liberian community down. I don't know in Minnesota, I don't know in Boston, but I am damn aware of it in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We are building what they call the Africa Town. Somebody asked me, who the hell are you? Why did you decide to build Africa Town? A Liberian community leader. And I said to her, it's a symbol. It's a symbol. It's a strategy for branding. Mr. Whistler and his group are welcome. All of the group are welcome. Jeannie Blackwell is now a retiree from City Council, but entire life, about almost 20 years of her life, she earlier on defined the need. What now a lot of politicians are catching up with the idea that Jeannie Blackwell started 20 or 22 years ago. They are now looking at us as a voting bloc. Because right after the election, you're not going to see them again. But Jeannie Blackwell is here on a Saturday morning when she's supposed to be there. That's not voting for her. It's not for her. It's not about voting. This is her life work. She will be going from program to program, giving support. Y'all stop attacking our cannon, please. Because if y'all come to me, we serve 7,000 people a year here in Pennsylvania, right here on Chester Avenue. If you come to me, this guy harassed me all throughout. Whether I like it or I don't like it, Western will be calling me. Can you do this? Can you do this? That's what it takes to take an attention away from what I'm doing to be able to help him to do what he's doing. B, when she had a program, she called me. She said, I want you to come and talk. And you know what I did? There is a program that is coming to Philadelphia. One rich person put some money in the system and say, what? I said, B, you one of them. I'm from Nima County. She's from Grand Cheetah County. I shouldn't be helping her from the reality of our community. Am I correct? We should be enemies. But she's my sister. What we can do with these professionals like Westland and Bolo Ashad and all of these folks that are coming together and women of substance and your group, what we need to do, we need leadership to bring us together. Listen to this. I've done this. I'm in my 23rd, 24th year of doing it. 15 years of serving as immigration lawyer. My thing is, you will never get my knowledge if you do sit next to me and try to get that knowledge peacefully. Even if you're a lawyer and you decide to start your issue today, you will still not catch up, because when you have achieved 1 year, I will add 1 more year to my years. So my issue here, I put myself out there. You all start fighting. Look what's happening in our community. You all want to solve the problem? You all want to solve the problem? But you all don't have community leadership that we fought so hard to put into place for almost 6 years. Am I correct, Mr. Westland? Why are you fighting over a position that pay no salary, that pay no bill? Is that a title, Mr. President? What I will do, I will enthrone myself as a king, a higher than the presidency. Am I correct? So what I'm saying to you is, in order not to fall in the pit of what the young man was telling us, because our children have a mindset of mimicking their environment. They want to be the African American. They want to do exactly what other people, their schoolmates do. But in doing that, they learn values that we have not learned. Let there be a relationship campaign. While you're doing this, Minority Center, let it be a place that we will put all our tribal, ethnic, political differences aside and bring all of our people of means together. What I have achieved will never be part of your resume. You gotta be able to think, put something together, and come to me and say, you know what? Let me tell you, Councilwoman is here. Akana is very community center that was $100 million. At the junction of the Pacific and Chester, by God's grace, it will be there in 2 years. But let me tell you why I chose to make that pronouncement. Listen to this. The strategies that have gotten us there can get you there. And you can't insult me, you can't throw all kinds of things in my back end and expect me to give you all my things. We cannot, and I have always stated the issue of community elections and this that for a unit as long as your minority center does not have election, it will survive. We're trying to do election. And the next thing, you and the family member will start. So what I'm saying to you, I'm elected to put myself on the board. But it takes, don't think that once we stand here and say it's going to be a quick solution. We should work together, and probably you and the ladies, Lima Bowie and them solve the war in Liberia just by challenging the men who were hard-headed. I challenge you, Liberian women in Pennsylvania, to put on your white T-shirt and bring us together. If I don't want to talk to Shehu Kamara, make me talk to Shehu. If I don't want to deal with him, make me deal with him. Or else you put words out there to say no Liberian must go to Akana. You understand?
That's right.
What is this jealousy about? I thank you all.
Well said.
Thank you, Mr. Jabate. Okay.
How y'all doing today? I'm Myra McNeely. I'm a convener of the Delaware County Black Caucus, which is a nonprofit organization in Delaware County. We do community outreach. We try to help the community in so many ways. We address the racism in Delaware County. We also do food giveaways, and we have different forums and events to bring knowledge to the black community in Delaware County. And we do that because it was well needed. Because Delaware County was a very racist entity that we had to address. And we brought this organization together. Actually, Senator Anthony Williams was the founder of the Delaware County Black Caucus. He's also a convener. I'm here today with Mr. William Felder. He's also a convener of the Delaware County Black Caucus. And I was listening to this young man speak about how his life went and how things was done in his life. But if we look at the history, that started in his life years before he was even born. Because we looking at a government that had took and tried to destroy the black community in every way they could. And when they told our black women in 1970 and 1960 that they can only get welfare if you don't have a man in your house. Now, how you going to tell a woman that she don't need a man, but she needs children? She needed a man to make them children. she need a man to raise those children. That's why we have this runaway renegade as we have today, because the government broke up the black families throughout this county, throughout this country. And doing that, they left a lot of children with no guidance. And after they got our black women on welfare, they told them, oh, wait a minute, we've been paying y'all a little too much. You got to get a job now. Now she don't have a man in the house, but she got 5 children or 10 children at home. But nobody's there to guide them because she got to go out and go to work. Then once she get out there and she get to working, oh, wait a minute, every time she get a 50-cent raise, they take $2,000 from her, or $1,000, because they gave her $3,000 to put the man out the house. So this is why we have the problem that we have today. You have to address it from the root of the problem, because if you just address it from what we see today, you're starting at the top of the tree. You got to go to the root. And the root of the tree was, we got to bring these black families back together. These young men and these young women got to realize that when you get together and you start forming a family, that you got to keep that as a family. You know, I can walk in your house and be your boyfriend, but I can't be your son's father, because he's going to let me know at some point when I try to chastise him as his father, he's going to tell me, you're not my father. So he needs his father in his life. And this is something that we have to get through to our young people, because this have went on from generation to generation. Oh, you don't need no man to validate you. You don't need no man to help you raise your kids. Yes, you do. Just like a man need his woman to validate him. You know what I mean? But we got to start telling our young people, keep that family together. Keep it together, because it's very well needed. That child needs guidance from both parents. My son came home from college and said to me one day, Dad, I want to thank you for being in my life, because I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for you. Because he knew I wasn't going to allow him to go out there and sell drugs on the corner. You know what I'm saying? But his mother couldn't stop him, because if she's at work trying to make money and he's at home doing whatever he want to do, she can't stop him. You know? So this is a ongoing situation, but just like I said, we got to go to the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is, it starts there, how we got to bring these families back together and let these young people know that when you have kids, you have a responsibility. And that responsibility is donated to them and them only, and to make sure that they're guided in the right direction, because it's very well needed. But just like I said, we're a nonprofit organization in Delaware County. Any of you that live out there, you're more than welcome to join the Delaware County Black Caucus. We would love to have you, because we need to bring the communities together. You know, and out there we bring the politicians together. We have forums where we have the politicians come in and sit down with the community and learn how to communicate with the community. This way you get to know what's needed and what's not. So these are the things that we do out in Delaware County with the Delaware County Black Caucus. And I want to thank y'all for having me here today.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Well, I'm not much at talking, but I too am a convener for the Delaware County Black Caucus, and I'm a Philadelphia, South Philly boy. And the problems that exist with drugs and gun violence has always been here. We need a change in lifestyles. We are too used to assimilating to what exists, and we know it's wrong. Our problem is so multifaceted and on these different levels that it's going to be difficult unless we do what God wants us to do, because He gave us a mind. We got to let people stop forming and developing a negative mindset in our children. We want to stop it. There is a way. One way is we got to cut off the recruitment level. The recruitment level that needs to be cut off have to start with 8, 9, 10, and 11-year-old children. Cut them off. The ones that's beyond that, we have to help them. By us not helping them, they got a new recruitment from the younger ones that's watching them every day, because believe it or not, I have 45 years in mental health dealing with children from 5 to 18. I've never seen the mess that we're in until I start looking at our children at that age. They are emulating us. When you hear them cursing or using profanity, a parent is quick to smack a child in the mouth. Who gonna smack you in the mouth? Our children need to learn how to go back to this earth. What I mean by that is they need to learn the periodic table of elements. That should be the A, B, C's. Forget A for apple. Let's talk about A for aluminum and the properties, the magnetic value that it has and how it comes out of the earth, what it looks like, because we don't even know the earth no more. We know environments. I'm one who would say there is no black community. We only have black common areas. They all look alike. They all suffer from the same thing. We done been into all kinds of things to try to solve those problems. But the problem don't even really start at home. It starts from the time they arrive here. And we are being negligent because most children, or all of us, came through birth. We never needed nothing but milk. Not food, not nothing from the earth. Milk. That milk nurtured us long enough to give our body the complete development to become part of a moving world. Once the child is off the milk, now they got to eat the things from the earth. We don't even know agricultural science to feed ourselves. We have to go back to the earth so that we can stop the problem that they're creating for us and we're participating in to make it worse. I have one request. I know it's a lot of organizations here. We got to unite again. You are a Liberian community. You were here, and because of slave revolts, turning over ships, trying to win your freedom back, because you came here and you caused so much hell that they got a lot of us together, put you back on the ship and sent you back to Africa, and you became Liberia. So you a strength that we need, because you fought your ass off to get out of here. All I'm saying is this. We have to, all the organizations that are here right now, we need to, number one, network. So I'm going to give Alaska a card, and I think the convener did, where we all need to either copy those cards on one form and have it emailed out to all of us, because when we have events, we want you to come. When you have events, we need to know. We need to let each other become honorary members on each one of our organizations so that someone can come and pick up the communication that we can keep the dialogue on. You can stay where you are, because where you serve best, you do best. But we still need to know what you're doing so that if we can help, we'll be there. So I thank you for your time and bless you.
I think we are doing great. The next speaker is on the way, and Senator Williams is saying that he will be here for the second session. But somebody want to make remarks? We saw people coming in.
I'm going to keep talking. So if you're coming up and you're using the mic, when you're coming up and you're using the mic, please hold the mic to your hands, because the audience are watching. And if you take the magnifier away from you, they're saying they can't hear you very clear. So we got a lot of good stuff that is coming up for yeah, because I'm going to bring the stand back. All right. Okay, so we have. I just listening to him. We have a lot of good things coming up. We just hope that the community will actually work with us. Okay, like what he's talking about the card and flyers. You notice that a lot of Liberians, we in the community, we always face flyers and take it to Mama Mary's shop, Musu shop, and we put it there waiting to see whether somebody will come through and will pick up the card. Now it's different now. You got your cell phone with you. That's why the cell phone is very important. So all you need to do is subscribe to the LRTN page. So all the things we're discussing, those are things that we're going to be running app and different things on there. Everything that's going on. We're trying our best to see if we can come out, even with local news, that we can have things that are going on. So we just need to work together, like what he said. We work together, support us so we can make things to happen. And let me give it back to
Thank you very much. We have another gentleman among us. This gentleman, I was looking at his profile. I was like, first I thought he was a Guinean. Then again, I thought he was a Ghanaian. Then I thought he was a Liberian. Then Nigeria. He's all over the place. Let us call him Mr. Stanestrada. He's a board member of Ghanaians, Liberians, everything. He's all over the place. He's an African American.
He's right. I'm African. Okay, and that's important for all of you, especially you people, you brothers and sisters from Liberia, because when you get to the United States, they don't ask you, are you Liberian or Guinean or Togo or Ghana? You know what they say? You black. That's your crime, being born black and coming to America. That's what we're living out now. All these wonderful speakers, give them a big hand, because we do have to fight every day. Mrs. Blackwell and Vofi and many of us created the Mayor's Commission on African Caribbean Immigrant Affairs in 2005. And that, thanks to her leadership and former Mayor John S. Street, was an opportunity for African and Caribbean immigrants and African Americans to come together to talk about the unity that we need, and it has been developed for over 20 years now in the City Hall. That has given us, our black community, a voice in City Hall. And as Vofi pointed out, black people, immigrant community will not be overlooked anymore. Just last night we were meeting with the Congresswoman, Mary J. Scanlon, from this part, because she knows how important our black community, the immigrant community, is just to her election. And this is throughout the city. The other thing we have to deal with is the fact that, number one, give yourselves a big hand, because this is what begins changing the world. I'm not a religious kind of guy, but I can remember they taught me when I was a young boy that 12 guys came together and became Christian, and everybody in the world is damn near Christian now. Just from these 12 guys who got together and said, we got to do this. So you are the beginning and maybe even the end of what existed before, and bringing us all together. So as this young man said, talk about changing for our people, especially our youth, because they are our future. If you don't recognize that, then we got to start over again, because if we don't save them, we ain't going to be saved. So I appreciate all of you being here to support this effort today, and more importantly, reaching out, because it takes some reaching out. It's also going to take some patience, because all of us didn't come here saying we need to save the world. People are still here, unfortunately, involved in a destructive effort to bring us all down if we can. And so we're working to change that mindset. We're working, as the brother said, in schools. We need all hands on deck for this struggle where we are right now. We must do that. I also wanted to point out that a number of good things. I'm standing here not talking about what has been bad. All of y'all have contributed to some wonderful things that have put this city on the map. Irrespective of this trouble we're going through, and it's going to be work, but all of you have come together to put this city on the map, and we want to thank you and all of you for the contribution you made to this, getting us here today. I mean, Philadelphia is known for its black community. Philadelphia is known for the contribution of the African Caribbean immigrant community make to it. Mrs. Blackwell and Vofi, we've been talking about Africa Town. You in it. You created it. We didn't make it. Africa Town is created because you made it, the immigrant community made it and bought us. When you walk these commercial corridors and see these businesses on there, those businesses didn't get any support from the government. They dug in their pockets and helped create those businesses, and you helped them survive. So we have created something, and we want to make sure you're aware of it so we can continue it. So let's think about this way. You know, we got Chinatown, we got the Italian market, we got the Reading Terminal, we even have a neighborhood in Philadelphia. They advertise. So why not an Africa Town? I mean, are we ashamed of being black? That's great. This is the Africa Town. We already have a rich and vibrant commercial corridors. Baltimore, Chester, Woodland, Elmwood, and more. We already did it. So why can't we come together, as all these gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen saying all together, to make it a global destination point for tourism, for black tourism? Guess what? We got 1.3 billion black people on the continent of Africa alone, but we don't have one sign in the city of Philadelphia to say, black people, we welcome you, come visit us. None. But if you look on the City of Philadelphia tourist program, they got a program for Chinese, they got one for the Brazilians, they got one for Europeans and British, but nothing for black people. I think you might see the African American Museum there, you might be able to see the Paul Robeson House or the Marian Anderson House, but we got 120,000 African and Caribbean immigrants right here in the city. We have the largest population of any major city right here. And nothing to advertise who we are, what we are, and that you can come visit us. Okay, I want to give my props to Mrs. Blackwell and Vofi because the programs that they're doing to sweep the streets to make it safe for us to walk and shop in our own community, to help clean it up, to help provide technical assistance and small loans to the businesses along those corridors. This is important. I know many of us know how we're going to learn to help people to get social services, to get food stamps or food, do all those things. But one thing I did that you know, but all this, and y'all some of you from Liberia, out of the country, been here for a little while, right? Now you know, some of you know where to go get social services. It advertises. That's what we do. We tell you how to do it. But where do you go to get rich? There's no store. There's no door. They tell you how to get welfare. They got a building. They got buildings to tell you where to get welfare. They have nothing to tell you to go get rich and how to enrich yourself and your family. There's no door. There's no building. So what's the matter with that problem? It's our problem. We got to solve that problem. Okay, we have to come together, as you've heard these people say, we have to come together to solve that problem so we can enrich our community, run our schools, the social services programs we have, and learn how to make money. Because you're in the United States now, this is about capitalism, cutthroat capitalism. We got about learn how to survive and create wealth for ourselves, our communities. And what do you hear people talk about now? Generational wealth. Well, you know, pull yourself up by your bootstrap. I ain't had no boots when I was a little boy to get up, you know what I mean? So we have to change this paradigm and talk about how we work together to create wealth in our community. At Vofi and all of you talk about there's no pettiness and no jealousy. We have to come together to put our heads together, our resources together to create wealth in our community ourselves. We have to write that book. I mean, I like they said, I've been to Guinea, Liberia, Togo. I'm 80 years old. I've been all around the world. In fact, some of you might be old enough to know I worked with Reverend Solomon for 30 years, creating the international programs of OIC and them. So that's why I saw and learned many of the aspects of what we're doing, serve and learn together and work together. But this working together, saving our youth, is one of the very important things we do. And for those of you from Liberia, you know we had an OIC program in every county. Reverend Solomon did. Some of you may know that. I see a lot of young ladies out here, so I know you may not know it yet, but I want to thank all of you for being here. So finally, before I sit down, I really want to ask you to look at the whole question of how do we create wealth in our community. And I know many of us are in need, dire need, as the young man pointed out with him. So I don't want to belittle that, but we got to start, just like we're going to start working with our young people, as you have all come to commit to, we got to also talk about how do we change this paradigm around? Because nobody's changing around. I mean, nobody's talking about how do we change this. We talk about how to stop it. So we got an element that's stopping it, but what is the future going to be? The one thing I can assure you of at 80 years old, there will be a future. But if you don't work on it, it won't get the way you want it to be. You're going to be doing somebody else's future, okay? So please, 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 I heard these brothers talk about coming together with Delaware County and coming together in Philadelphia. That's what we must do. We must survive, and we must come together to survive and work with our people. The one thing you will have to do with all of us, we got to change these institutions. You hear people talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's what they're talking about. And so if we ain't talking about how do we get that done, then what are we doing? We have to change the system that doesn't operate for us, it operates against us. And think about it this way, now I'm going to sit down. I don't want to hurt nobody, but we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And these are the same people that for the last 300 years have been racist. So how do you say racists going to talk about inclusion? They got to go. That's how you change. Those people that have been maintaining this system, they have to go. So we have to work together, be aware, be smart, make sure we save our children, and work together because we have to be the leadership of the future and work forward. So God bless all of you. Let me thank you for inviting me and look forward to working with all of you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Scott. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, we have some of our colleagues want to make an announcement, and it's about minority population. Go ahead.
No. How y'all doing? My name is Shakira. We're here with the King Stetson Southwest Rams. We have football from ages 4 to 15 and also cheerleading. So you bring the kids out, come out to the community, and give them something productive to do. Thank you. Ages 4 to 15.
Wednesday, Saturday, and
Sunday.
Wednesday 5:30 to 7:30. Saturday 12:30 to 2:30. Sundays 10 to 12:30. So if you don't see us out here, there's a paper on the wall. A kid could go in there, sign up, put their name, number, and their age.
Okay.
It's
tackle.
But we do got an event coming up May the 7th. A community event, a real big event, where we doing 7-on-7 flag football. So just bring the kids. Just bring them. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
What's the flyer?
It's inside in the recreation center.
I also got Instagram and Facebook. So it's Southwest Rams 423 on Instagram, and Facebook is Southwest Rams. So all my flyers is on there.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I was just reminded that I should announce Nima Bowie tonight. I mean, from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, pray the devil back to hell. And it will be showing it at Clarion Hotel. And it starts at 4 o'clock and ends at 6. There will be engagement with her. I don't know, those of who you don't know Nima, she is the lady that put those ladies together in Liberia to force Taylor to accept, to negotiate the peace talk. And then she's also a co-recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. And for me, I think Nima is the third most popular Liberian in our generation. Because I look at it like George Weah, Ellen Sirleaf, then Nima Bowie. But Nima is here with us today, and she's coming to tell us how woman power brought the war to an end. So tonight at 4 o'clock.
Yes, the Iron Lady. The African Iron Lady. This is Blackwell.
As always, I thank God for the privilege of being here with all of you. I thank Him for the pleasure and privilege of working with this community. We started meeting in 2000 when we realized that some Africans were having issues in Southwest. And we started meeting, and I sat down and with my best friend Dolores Muhammad, and we wrote the language and created the Mayor's Commission on African and Caribbean Immigrant Affairs that John Street signed and has been law ever since. And I've been chairman of that commission. I'm very, very happy to work with Akana. We're happy to come up with the whole idea of Africa Town. We know there's 120,000 Africans in this Philadelphia region, and we know that we can do all we choose if we continue to work together and to support one another. So again, I'm pleased to be here. Whenever you see a meeting, I'll be there today at 4. I'm always there. It's part of my mission, part of what God has given me to do. I look forward to seeing you. God bless you. Thank you very much. You're welcome. You're welcome.
And we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
At this time, we're a little ahead of time. It's lunchtime. It should be 1 o'clock according to our program, but we can have lunch at this time.
How's it going, bro?
What's up, bro?
Pretty good. How are you?
I hang in there.
Good to see you again. Yeah, we do. Stanley. This one's set.
This is the time to come together. Keep Liberia safe forever. So open up your heart, let the unity begin. Love is all we need to make it stand. Let's cultivate one another. Learn to live together as brothers and sisters. Without togetherness, we won't have no peace of mind. Unify and have a peaceful, sweet Liberia, land of liberty is our home.
Good afternoon. Wherever you're watching us from, this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. And my name is Derek, and we are here covering the gun violence and gun violence forum in Philadelphia. And we have with us Stanley Strutter and can you see her name for us?
I'm Janie Blackwell.
Janie Blackwell. And we're here to do a very brief interview about the overall message. And for your information, the theme of this program is finding alternative means to reduce violence and other than just arrest and detaining people. And Mr. Strutter, you spoke about inclusion, and you spoke about having an identity as Black people in the Philadelphia area. My question to you: how can the media, for example, LRTN, be of help to help achieve that goal?
Well, let me first of all thank the media for being here. And you can see how important this is to be here and be a part of it because, as I said, this is the beginning of many people coming out to support themselves, but also it's the the beginning of the end of this violence, because that violence is perpetrated among us, black people. Black people imposing crime on black people. So our strength is our unity and to fight it. So your work as in the media is definitely needed, and we need to have you help us to mobilize our people. If they don't hear the message, they don't see it on TV, they don't hear it on the radio or in the social media, where will they get the message? So you guys have access to information that we need, first of all, and need to help teach us how do we get that out to the movement. So my next suggestion is you got to go to some of these community organizations like the Minority Thing, Vofi, talk to Mrs. Blackwell, and talk to them about what you're doing so they can do a story. You know, the crime and violence we see on TV, it comes every day, 10 times a day. But we don't get one black story about anything positive that black people are doing in there. So we have to make sure that we have a partnership between the black media and especially, I would say, especially the Liberian community and the various African communities, because you all have networks, strong networks. I've seen it, been a part of it, and that's what I'm seeing here. So we have to help empower you to help empower us to get the message out. I think once we get that message out, people are going to be upset because we're getting the message out. That means we are telling our people that you have to change. And that's how everything changes. Right. So we appreciate you and the media. Mass Mr. Blackwell, she got more experience with the media than I have.
Yeah, and just for introduction purposes, Mrs. Blackwell has spent a lot of years advocating for a lot of different issues affecting the black community. And Mrs. Blackwell, how would you react to the question of how can the media be of help in achieving the goal of having a black identity as well as inclusion?
Oh, I agree with all that the Honorable Stanley Straughter has said. Getting the word out is so important, and letting them know that the issues they're involved with, the community programs, the work, for example, that Akana does to help with employment, to help with voter registration, to help with medical issues, to give them important information. Right now, I'm involved as a ward leader too and chair of the United Democratic Ward Leaders of Color and first vice chair of the Democratic Party. I'm involved a lot with election. We're going to be electing a governor. We're electing U.S. senators, right, and locally state senators, and re-electing ward leaders and state reps. So it's very, very important that the press let people know what it is, whether it is political, whether it is medical. The 23rd and the 24th, there will be free dental, free eyeglasses, free medical. You don't even have to give your name at the convention center, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. All free medical. And medical, eyeglasses, dental, and we need the press to let this community, let our extended community know that these services are available, that there are people who care about them, that love them. We're here for public service. This is my mission. So we'll be here. We want to work with the press to get all of this positive news and information out. And we thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And before I let go of both of you, and just you can include your closing comments to the question, what would be your message to the victim of gun violence in Philadelphia like we had today, and also to the organization that hosting this event? What would be your message to them? Let me start with Mr. Blackwell, if you don't mind.
Well, my message would be that to not get so frustrated that you don't realize we're with you. The mayor's with you. I know all the elected officials. I was on a forum last night, a Zoom forum. We're with you. We support you. Whatever your needs are, we want to help you get your needs met. Count on us. We know about other services that may be available for you. And just know that we are here. Reach out, or we're happy to reach out to you if we know how to get you. God bless you and take care.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Let me say, first of all, I want to congratulate the organization because, as I said earlier, this is where it begins. We have to empower ourselves to move the system. Okay, you know we have work to do, but as Mrs. Blackwell said, it takes some patience. Okay, it took us over 400 years to get to where we are, and there was never an easy step. Our ancestors are in their grave because they gave up their lives for us to be here. Okay, so we want to continue that. That's number one. I think for many of the organizations, they think they can save the world, but it takes years and years and years to work on. So we want to build on that, help build capacity in organizations like this, give them technical assistance so they can survive the hard times, and we'll keep moving on together. So God bless them, and we want to keep working together and look forward to future collaboration, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much. That's the Honorable Stanley Strutter and Miss Blackwell. I'll say thank you so much on behalf of the network, and thank you guys so much for the work that you guys continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me know if I'm lying. Is it good?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Love is all we need to make it see. This is the time to come together. Keep Liberia safe forever. So open up your heart, let the unity begin. Love is all we need to make it stand. Let's cultivate one another. Learn to live together as brothers and sisters. Without togetherness, we won't have no peace of mind. Unify and have a peaceful home. Sweet Liberia, land of liberty is our home. Keep it standing. This is the one and only home that we have. Sweet Liberia, this land of liberty is our home. Let us keep it standing. It's the one and only home that we have. Oh, sweet Liberia, love is all we need to make it stand. Unify and have a peaceful home. Change is all we need to make it stand. Let's unify and have a peaceful home. Sweet Liberia, land of liberty is my home. And let us keep it standing.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Yale, and this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. Standing with me right now is Alaska Whitner, the Executive Director of Minority Center for Participation and Empowerment. This organization today is having a panel discussion that carries the theme alternative means of reducing crimes and other than arrest and detention. So we're here today with the Executive Director just to get his overall view of the program and the motive of the program today. So Mr. Wessner, welcome to our camera.
Thank you very much.
Let me begin with how do you feel about the program so far as your goal is concerned?
Well, I think the program is successful, and it is a medium. One of my goals is to let the stakeholders know that people need to help alternatively. Instead of arresting people and just detaining them, there should be other means of reducing crime. Most of our black young men are in jail today because of petty offenses, and they don't have lawyers to free them from jail. So the best thing to do is to help these children and prevent the too much arrest. For example, if a child causes trouble and goes to jail, when he comes from jail, there should be programs, because once he leaves from jail, he has criminal records, and anywhere he goes, he needs to get criminal clearance. And so what we can do is to make sure that we work with them, rehabilitate them, and give them optionals programs. Some want to be carpenters, some want to be electricians, and create this program and keep them involved so that they can be distracted from going on the street. Keep them involved into activities, and that's what we are about. Our mission is to reduce crime and improve the life of minorities, Americans, which include immigrants.
And you spoke about a program to rehabilitate youth in order to reduce crime in the communities, and that going along with what the PA representative, the Honorable Regina Young, said, talking about those programs exist. It's just that people have to make themselves available to get those programs. Now, how prepared is your organization to get those programs to the people that need it so it can help to reduce crime overall?
What we have on our website, www.minorityscenterpe.com, or we have where you can do your application intake. We got live chat. Once you go there and you put your information in, we can always get back to you. Our email address is there. Our telephone numbers are there. And we even have fax number. Besides that, if you visit the program, we have 11 programs on our website. Look for your program of interest and let us know. We have the after-school program, which includes question teams, which include debates, which include tutorial classes. We have our substance abuse program, which include evaluations, rehab. We have our vocational training program, which include different skills. Yes, we have our liquor programs, which include both liquor and immigration, and we have a lot of programs. And the setback is getting grants, but we are making progress. We sure hope that we can get grants. We have our health and social service program, where we have adult literacy, where we have linking people to resources, like the representative was saying. We're going to get our information and link it to other people. So we will be in the middle. Anybody want information, come to Minority Center, we link you. How to apply for Medicaid, how to apply for Social Security. We just link you, get social workers who will help you into the process. You want immigration, we send you where to get immigration. You want lawyer, so we just want to be there for the people, for our people. Just link them to activities.
Yes, and if you're watching to what Mr. Wisner just said, the website to find all of this information again is www.minoritycenterpe.com. Now, Mr. Wisner, back to you. We listened to the experience of the victim of a gun violence. A mother related about her experience, how tragic it was. Now, you listening to that, how does that make you feel, and what incentives does that give you to continue your fight to reduce crime in the community?
Well, it encourage me to continue doing what I'm doing. It enforces my vision, or our vision, because that's what we're talking about. We want to make sure that our young people are occupied in different sectors, activities. Because once the guys are busy doing stuff, they won't have the mind going to do because the adult mind is a devil workshop. So once the guys are busy doing stuff, they will not be doing other stuff. So our sports and recreation program will help young men to come and they identify they are full of choice. So you want soccer, you want basketball, you want American football. Once you come and join us, we can link you to being a Michael Vick. We can link you to be a Michael Jordan. We can help you to encourage you. If you want to sing, we come to us. We have our program, our own choir and choir or musical team. We promote you to become a good musician. So we are there to help people and distribute people where they're supposed to go. So that's what we are for. We are for people who are misbehaving and who do not have opportunities, and we are people who want to get opportunities. For example, people who do not know math and sciences and found it difficult to do their homework. Our program, our tutoring classes program, will help people to brush up after school, because maybe this single mother doesn't have the ability to teach her son or daughter math at the age of 10th grade. Our after school program will help provide tutors at a minimum level. That's it. And students who are already out of their homes, who cause trouble in the street, they have hope. Then they come to us. We can help you. In fact, we have a 1-800 number. Our 1-800 numbers is, once somebody give you trouble, like for example, in trouble with the police, call our 1-800 number and report it, information. We will play the message and get to you. Like police will arrest you and you don't have a lawyer. Call our 1-800 number. We'll see how we can get to you. We'll see how we can help you from where you are. That's what we're about.
Is it okay if I call the 1-800 number to the left?
Call the 1-800.
Again, the number to call is 1-800-538-1599. And Mr. Wisner, before I let go of you, let me ask you my last question. You can also include your conclusion as well. Now, how can the media, for example, LRTN network, how can we be of help to achieving your overall goal?
Well, just pick up your phone, we'll call you, because we want you to help to disseminate those good information. We want you to disseminate good information. When we call you, please come on, because we got a lot of activities to be going. Current next time we'll be going into the schools. We are in contact with the school district so that we can make sure these students, the minority students, do different activities. So when they come home after school, instead of going somewhere else, they can be involved. And why is minority? Let me make it clear. Why we use the word minority? Because we are minority in this country. Once you black, you got color, you are minority, and we are double. We have double injuries. We are black and we have accent. But this program is for everybody. It's for African, it's for African American, it's for Caribbean, it's for Asians. Once you have color in this country, this program is for you, a minority, because we are disadvantaged people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alaska Wisner, the Executive Director of the Minority Center for Participation and Empowerment. Again, this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek Yale, and we'll be right back with more live coverage.
This is the time to come together. Keep Liberia safe forever. So open up your heart, let the unity begin. Love is all we need to make it stand. Let's cultivate one another. Learn to live together as brothers and sisters. Without togetherness, we won't have no peace of mind. Unify and have a peaceful home. Sweet Liberia, land of liberty is our home. This is the one and only home that we have. Sweet Liberia, this land of liberty is our home. Let us keep it standing. It's the one and only home that we have. Oh, sweet Liberia, love is all we need to make it stand. Unify and have a peaceful home. Change is all we need to make it stand. Let's unify and have a peaceful home. Sweet Liberia, land of liberty
Okay, we are doing just fine. We just had our lunch break, and we're about to do our final session. And the session is a gun violence session. We have our speaker here, Tamika Green. Tamika she have her own experience. She's a victim, and she will explain to you. At this point in time, I have the distinguished pleasure to invite on this platform Ms. Tamika Green, our next speaker. Just a little breach of protocol. We have another partners here. Mr. De Wilson have another group, and he's very influential. He's doing good. As we said, we should be collaborating. We should help one another. Tamika will come right after that with Dr. Wilson. Dr. Wilson has a program going on right now, so you just want to speak and leave. At this time, we let her bring in Dr. Jonathan Wilson. Can you? Okay.
It's on?
Yeah, we'll get to you.
How you guys doing today? My name is Dr. Jonathan Wilson. I'm the director of the Fathership Foundation. A few of you have the brochure in front of you. We are a community-based 501c3 that operates right here in the 51st ward and in the 40th ward of Southwest Philadelphia. If you don't know what that is the 19142 and 19143 zip codes. This is not on.
No, the mic is for there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes. So the reason that you guys are here today is very close to my heart because I also am a victim of gun violence. I'm also a graduate of Cheney University, the first black university in the history of Western civilization. You guys might know that. Yeah. But one of the things I think about when I think about my college experience is that how for that community, they had all the things that it took for that community of 3,000 or 4,000 students to thrive. And it's the same rationale behind the community education and cultural enrichment events that the Fathership Foundation does for this community is to help contribute to that social infrastructure that it takes for our community to thrive. So at the university, they had public safety, they had housing, but they also had those social things, the old school lip sync contest, the distinguished speaker series, the career services. These are the kinds of things and institutions that have to be supported collectively in our community for our community to thrive. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do. We provide community, education, and workforce development programming to address the things that we wrestle with in all our jobs every day in social work: health, wealth, and educational disparities, and the structural inequality that creates them. All right? So I want to tell you a little bit about what we have going on here right now. We're studying gun violence and its connection to structural inequality and structural violence in our community. So next I'm going to have somebody to explain that a little bit more clear for you. This is our research team right here in Southwest Philadelphia, and we're going to be taking a closer look into gun violence and the perceptions of those that are involved. So what's going to happen now, we're going to have Dr. Hitchens and Dr. Payne come up and give you a little overview of that program.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Brooklyn Hitchens. This is Dr. Yasser Payne. We are the Southwest Street PAR project. PAR stands for Participatory Action Research. And so what that basically means is that we involve the people who are most affected by something on the research project. And so we're studying gun violence in this neighborhood, in other parts of Philadelphia, and we want to hear from the people who are most affected. So the people who might carry a gun, might have been shot before, and we're getting their perspective and their attitudes. And so I'll let everybody else introduce themselves real fast.
Hi, my name is Sarah Sidney, and I work at the Fellowship Foundation, and I do tutoring for after school. If you want to bring your child down here, it's from 3 to 7. And if you need any assistance for your GED, anything, just let us know. We're here for you. We're here for our community.
My name is Jeru Lawson. I'm from this neighborhood. My folks live right down on Alden Street. I'm from 52nd and Pentridge, and I'm just one of the research associates.
My name is Shakur Day. I'm from Southwest Philadelphia, right down the street, 60th and Chester Avenue. Me, myself, I was a victim of gun violence, so I'm trying to find ways so there won't be as many. I know that there's going to be more gun violence, but to lower this, because this is crazy. I don't like seeing parents have to bury their own kids. I'm not agreed with this, so that's it. My name is Shakur Day.
How you doing? My name is Eric Barrett. I grew up with this individual by the name of Dr. Wilson. And we ran into each other, we talked, we stay in communication, and what he is doing, I just want to support him. Because I was young once upon a time, and I wasn't the goodest of a child, so I just don't want the children. My uncle once told me a wise man learns from his mistakes, a wiser man learns from other people's mistakes. So I just want the youth to learn from the mistakes that I've been through. And I'm here to share my stories and do whatever I could do to assist my brothers and sisters in stopping this gun violence in the city.
Good afternoon. I'm Sharon. I'm actually from Southwest 2, 52nd and Warrington. I'm just here because this is my heart. This is my passion. We got to start somewhere in order to make a change. There's a lot of people out here that don't believe change can happen, and we can't basically help them if we don't start somewhere.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Yasser Payne. I'm a professor at the University of Delaware. I've been working for about at least over 10 years with Dr. Hitchens and Dr. Wilson. A lot of our work actually began in Wilmington, Delaware, and now we're fortunate enough to take this street PAR thing out on the road and actually bring it to Philadelphia. One last word. PAR is about research, right? PAR is about tapping into the community to actually do research, but PAR is also about tapping into the community to do activism and organizing from the ground up. There's nobody in this city that can stop gun violence better than the people that may have been involved with the streets or have experiences with violence. So that's where we're going to start, right? And God willing, after this project is Project 1, Project 2, Project 3, Project 4. And that's what's been happening in Wilmington, and we want to bring that same formula right here to Philadelphia. Thank you.
And can I add something? And adding with a lot of stuff that's happening in the city, people believe that, they could bring textbook people down here to talk to the people that never experience what we actually experience. So we need more people that experience these things that can be more get closer to them and they can relate to better. You understand what I'm saying? So that's where we're at with it too.
Participants.
Say that again.
Go ahead. So we're launching a study now out of the Fathership Foundation. We want to touch base with 150 young folk between the ages of 16 to 24 who may have had experiences with guns or gun violence and or street violence, right, to come down to the Fathership Foundation, be interviewed for up to an hour. You get $30 in cash. You also get some other resources, some information about jobs, counseling, and schooling as well, right? And we want to begin to tap into that population so we can get their understanding, their framing in terms of what's going on out here. And if we listen to them, we're going to be hearing stuff around structural violence and inequality and how all that translates into the streets. But it's time for them to have a voice about what's going on out here, and it's time to bring science to bear, right, to get underneath that voice so that voice can't be easily ignored. But 16 to 24, Fathership Foundation, and we want to interview these folk up to about an hour.
Let me give you the location. 1946 South 65th Street. Again, 1946 South 65th Street. We're right here, King Session, 65th and King Session, 65 King Session. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank y'all.
Thank you very much.
Let us know. Be a part of that too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank y'all. Thank you so much. Alaska.
We will be coming back. We will be coming back getting this. This ain't even it.
Y'all in for a treat too, you hear me? Y'all in for a treat. I wish I could stay.
What happened? Oh.
y'all talking, I'm listening to y'all. Hello, everyone. My name is Tamika Green. I'm from Southwest Philly. I grew up on a little block right behind Myers, Redfield Street. I was also shot on that block 9 times. I'm a gun violence survivor. I'm very passionate about this gun violence and what's going on. And I say this to say, there's none of my neighbors here. None of my neighbors are here. I never seen any of you people. I'm not being disrespectful to you. I'm just saying. I never seen any of you. I know your family. I grew up with your family. They lived on Redfield Street. I know you from around the way. Okay, my mission is to create opportunities for artistic expressions among at-promise youths. Okay, my mission is 0 to 14 because that's when they getting out there. Right now, today, I invite any children, Cobbs Creek, Whippy, we doing build a basket for the kids. Just bring the kids, send the kids, they build a basket, they play, and have a good time. So, now, I heard a lot of little speeches about ways that we can attack this community. I'm in the streets every day. As you know, I have an organization also. It's called FTS, From the Streets, For the Streets. Okay, and saying that, everybody ideas is all over the place, but you got to get in these streets. These boys don't want to talk. They don't want to talk. So what we got to do is bring stuff to our community. We got to bring stores. We got to create stuff. We got a bunch of empty lots doing nothing. Under them lots, I work with real estate. Under them lots is pipes, water pipes, gas pipes, whatever. We need to start creating our own stuff in our own communities. When the young boys come out their house, they have nothingness. Nothingness. Everywhere you walk, it's nothingness. It's destruction. Like, what do you expect? What do you think? Every corner they turn is a poppy store, a Chinese store, a smoke shop, and a deli. That's all they got. But then everybody trying to wonder why they killing. They ain't got no money, no jobs. People living with each other is a mess. People living in properties with no water. Like, people is out here suffering. Suffering, for real. While everybody else running around here playing. People is really suffering. So when they suffering, they get angry. When they come outside, they mad. Now they got an attitude. The guns, you ain't gonna get them. I don't care what you do. These niggas ain't giving up their guns. They not giving them up. So we gotta find another way to make them put it down. It's always an answer. It's always an answer, but we gotta make it happen. Those who really care. Those who got a heart. If your heart not in it, get out the way. That's just how I feel, because you in the way. If you don't really care, or if you got different motives that you in this thing to try to make change, you gotta feel it. You gotta live in this stuff. You gotta be in it, in the trenches, to understand I had a passion that I have for it. It's sad. I know a young girl who just saw the 67 from Greenway killing. Her boyfriend, she right now don't know what to do. Ain't got nowhere to turn, ain't got nobody. I'm throwing the event, so I can't even be there for her. But this is what happened tonight with her. What might happen tomorrow? Somebody might kill her. She might kill somebody. You understand what I'm saying? Like, when do it stop? We got people, us. We strong. We come together. Us right here can make a big change in this community right here. Yep. But we all got to be on the same page. Everybody want to be on the front line. It's not about that. It's not about none of that. Like, if we really going to make a change, let's come together, because I'm going to make a change with a crowd or without a crowd. Right now, I got this thing going on by myself down at the park for the kids. Anything else I need to touch on, King?
I know one thing, we got to strengthen the connection and the relationship between Native African Americans, like my man like to say, the descendants of slaves down south, and our brothers and sisters other from the African diaspora, from the Caribbean or from the motherland. We need to have more connection, more interaction. I'm an African American, but I would like for all my children to learn the African language. Where does that happen? We have to start
teaching each other, come together.
We have to start that interaction between the communities, because we are stronger together. And we all can contribute to the social infrastructure for us all to survive. So we have the Fathership Foundation at 65th and King Session. We also have Akana. We should be working together for the greater good of the community.
All right.
I just want to. Where's Brother Alaska? Come on up, Brother Alaska.
Let's see, man.
Announcement. I'd like to just thank Brother Alaska for all the work he has done. We have met probably about 20 times within the last week to 2 weeks trying to put this thing together. He is so dedicated. I'd like to thank you for all the work you do in the community and being early all the time. The opposite. No, I'm just kidding. But man, he has a great heart. We talk on the phone for long periods of time, and I know his heart is in it. So please continue to support the things that he's doing. This guy is a leader. He's a leader in all of our community. Thank you so much for the work you do here, my brother.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, let me thank all of you who came early and you came late and took up your time, your busy schedule. Today is Saturday, and there is Easter season. Tomorrow is Easter Sunday, and you guys took up your time to come and listen to community issues. We are so grateful, and we are successful because all what we wanted to happen took place today. The both groups came, the African group, the African American, the Black Caucus, the representatives, the council, everybody were here. They listened to, the police were here. They listened to everything, and we're going to work together. The one thing the folks watching in TV land, and the news, the NBC News was here. So people listening in radio land all over. I think one thing I gather is collaboration. We need to know one another. We need to know what people are doing. We need to collaborate and do things together. And as he said, if one person having program, invite the others. If one person having program, invite the others. So we're going to link with the Wilson group. We're going to link with the other groups, and we should all work together. That's great. I think we want to hear a few comments. If somebody want to say something who never spoke, and because we are wrapping up now, this thing is done. You listen to Timika, you listen to Solomon Hassan, both from the substance abuse and the gun violence. We want to ask everybody want to make comment, then we can start wrapping up. We want to give you the opportunity to speak. If you have not spoken, then we can move forward. Yeah.
Stay up. Any questions? Okay, once again, Sheila Carter. If anyone here has business cards that we have not collected, could you make sure I get your card? Because that was a very good suggestion that we collect the cards and make sure everybody knows who was in the room today. So that way, when you have your events and activities, we all can show up again. So we're going to make it a point. This is not the first time that you're going to see me. It's not the first time we're going to see you, because we're going to communicate and make sure, as they were saying, we need people from the community. We need the community here. You know, I was listening to a lot of the different things. I'm from the county. I'm from Delaware County, but I'm right down the road there. My background is I'm a former police officer and I work in social services, so I see it on both sides. And you know, when I was sitting over there and I was hearing about people being stopped by the police and things like that, that's true. That's truth. You know, for a lot of people, and I'm quite sure it's scary for people to be driving down a brand new car and you know you ain't did a darn thing wrong but pay your car payment and bought yourself a nice car because you deserved it, and now somebody's stopping you and you don't know why, you know. And because I come from you know, working in law enforcement, and my husband 37 years as a police officer, we as African Americans, believe it or not, we had to train our children how to survive. You know, we couldn't take for granted because they were police officers' children that they were going to be safe in the streets, you know. So I tell you, parents, because one of the things that I learned from being a police officer is that we take for granted that because our kids get good grades, that they're good kids. Kids can fool us. And for all those parents out there that think that you don't want to you don't want to invade their space, you don't want to check their rooms, you want for a rude awakening. Because let me tell you, my husband's seen a lot in some of them rooms of some of those kids in 37 years. And for those kids that's out, for those families that's out there struggling, you know who they are. And guess what? The food banks is open in Delaware County, I'm quite sure you have them right here in Philadelphia County. We have food banks all over the place. If you know it's a family out there struggling, when you go and pick up your potatoes and your broccoli, ask them, can you pick up a little bit more and just drop it off? Some people are little, they don't want you in their business. We know we don't want people in our business. But guess what? If they don't have a Ring doorbell, you could just leave it on the step. Because guess what? At the end of the day, I'm quite sure they're going to appreciate whatever you can do. I don't care if it's a case of water. If you know that family is struggling and something's $2 for $1, that's one for you and one for them. So we need to look out for each other. I think if we do that, it's a start, But like I said, you better check on your children, because don't assume or don't take nothing for granted. I have seen parents right now told me all along, my kid didn't do it. And their kid was in a gang. I'm talking about a serious gang with guns and everything. They see their kids on TV and still don't believe it's my child. They call me. You know why they call me? Not only do I work with Alaska, I'm president of the local NAACP. So I get all the calls. Somebody did something wrong to me. Two sides to every story. I take nothing for granted. I have to hear what you have to say, and I want to talk to the child too, So all I'm saying is, let's just look out for each other. $2 for $1, one for you and one for me. Okay? Thank you.
Well, we have done everything, and we'll ask Josephine, you want to give her closing remarks? See? Huh? You want to say something? Okay, after Josephine speak, then our dynamic vice president will speak.
Huh?
Yeah?
Okay.
Wait for your closing remark. No, but y'all just speak. Y'all just be your remarks. No, okay.
Thank you again. This program was really a success. It's a successful program for us to come together and talk about pressing issues in our community. And on behalf of Women of Substance of Delaware Valley, for which I'm the president, I want to extend our thanks and appreciation to Alaska and its team, Minority Center, for inviting us to be part of this all-important organization. So thank you, and thank you for everybody who have come here and shared their stories. These stories have been so impactful and inspiring to us. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon to all. My name is Beatrice Hansford Swen from the Liberian community, and I'm very thankful to my president, Mr. Alaska Wisner, and his team for inviting me here. As you might have heard, I work in various capacities. I am a vice standard bearer of the Wisner Swen team in the Liberian community. I'm also the president of the NIAO Association in the Americas. The NIAO is a section from Liberia, a little section from Liberia, a group of people that decided to gather in this country to be able to make an impact in Liberia to help people. Also, I am the vice president of the Decanty Sisters, of which our president, Becky, is sitting over there. And also, I am a former Secretary General of the Best Sisters International. So I'm here representing all of these groups that you just heard. And I'm glad to be here. What I gather here today is people working together with one goal, helping each other. But from my experience, what I know is after here, what next? We've heard a lot of speakers, and this is not the first time that we have come to such event. We go to these events, we listen, we hear, we go home, we forget. So I want to encourage those in leadership role. It's a beautiful thing to start this kind of group, but try to reach out. Again, follow up, make a follow up. There are some Liberians that have this language barrier, you know, and they might not want to go to the Americans because they will be, you know, humiliated. So they get afraid, but they can interact more with somebody like Alaska. So it's not a bad thing to have these different groups all around here. It depends on who reach out to you and what you can benefit from it. So Mr. Wisner, it's a good thing. It's a good initiative. I just want you to follow up and make sure that the Liberians around here are involved. Let them get to know what is happening. And we are here. We are going to be working together. Like for me, I am a living sacrifice of community service. I'm always involved with my community. And that's why when I step out there, a lot of folks know me. People wonder, who is she? Because I reach out and I'm involved. You know, get involved with results. Okay? So if you have not found any foundation or any organization to work with in the community, try to find one. The Liberian Association of Pennsylvania should have been our umbrella association, and I just hope they will do more, gathering all these little groups in our community together so that we get the help that we need. A lot of help have passed by us. All right? So let us find our people. They will find us too, and we all can work together for the success of this community. Once again, I thank you for inviting me. I learned a lot here today, and I just hope we all reach out to the leaders and get the best that we can get. Thank you, and God bless you all. Have a wonderful Easter.
Where's the egg? Where's the egg at me?
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, good evening, everyone, because we've been here all day. I just want to take this time to really applaud our brother in the community, Mr. Alaska Wisner, for his initiative to put this forum together, which was very educational. I'm very happy and proud of him for the work he has done so far in our community. At this time, we have listened, we have learned, we have heard the stories. What do we do with it moving forward? So I am volunteering myself to work with Mr. Alaska as a social worker. I'm a social worker by profession, a licensed social worker. I work with geriatric program in a medical facility, but I'm looking forward to working with my own community. While it is true, I have not experienced in my personal life any gun violence, any type of violence. It is my passion to work with people who have those experiences. I have seen it in a job place. I work as a foster care clinical manager, and I saw all sorts of things. It's like I always wanted to bring a kid home because of the trauma they were experiencing in their lives. And I've seen the gun violence, the drug use, how even our client, which is the geriatric population, like grandparents, we've seen them abused because they have teenagers that lives in a home with them, financially exploit them, you know, and abuse them because of what they have and everything. So we as community, we need to work together to educate our community, especially our young kids. You know, our children coming from Liberia and not, you know, they want to integrate to the American culture. Sometimes they find themselves lost. And I must say, a personal thing that I like to do is to reach out to young kids, especially young girls. I do that on a personal level. I'm the kind of person I like to work behind the curtain. I'm not like up front like that. But I work with kids when I know they are having challenges at home. You know, they're having difficulties with education. They need a big sister and a big brother. I'm not going to call names, but I just spoke to a brother yesterday, and I asked his daughter, I told him that I want his daughter to be my play daughter because of a story that was explained to me. And when I have a daughter, I have one daughter. So I decided that I'm going to mother this child as a community mother to help bring her to where she needs to be as she would need me. And those are some of the things we need to do in our community, and not just politics, fighting all the time, politics. I'm not very successful at those things, so I find myself withdrawing from those talks. If it's not positive, I'm not wasting my time because I'm not getting paid, for it, and it's not making progress. That's the most important thing. So for me personally, I like to see progress. I love progress. And so I'm going to volunteer myself to work with Mr. Alaska. Mr. Alaska, are you listening to me even? I volunteer myself because I think that's one of the ways that I can give. So I want to thank you for this forum again, and thank you for everything, the speakers. Everything was so great. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, clap for me now.
Hello, my name is Tahir. I'm one of the youth from this community. Today I was actually here to do community service. I have 2 active cases as of right now. Reason why I wanted to speak is because I like to see stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? As again, I say I live here, so I see and I know everything that's going on. You know what I'm saying? And I want y'all to understand that it's closer than y'all think it is. You feel what I'm saying? Like you say you have kids. If y'all have kids, please go through your kids' phones, learn their friends, learn everything about these kids, because nowadays they doing whatever they want to do. And I'm not saying y'all are bad parents, because just like she said, your kid can be getting straight A's, doing everything good in front of you, but as soon as they leave out that house, it's a different child. You know what I'm saying? It's not that child that you're seeing in that house every day. So I encourage y'all, please, just get into y'all kids' lives a little more than you think you are. You know what I'm saying? I know it may be hard. You work, you do stuff like this, you help other people, but y'all kids is where it starts at. You know what I'm saying? My mom, she is here, but I didn't have as much, with her. I went through foster care, a lot of stuff. I've been shot before, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot throughout my life, but I'm here, you know what I'm saying? And I am grateful that I was here today to hear everything that y'all have said. It's a blessing. It really is a blessing. Y'all need to do this more. Like I said, y'all children is the ones, they're the keys. You know what I'm saying? If you have a niece and nephew, you might not have kids. You got a niece and nephew, get into their life. Figure out what they're interested in. Help them get an extracurricular, help them with school. Because nowadays, it's either drugs, guns, or sex. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's the only 3 things that they really into: drugs, guns, and sex. And I'm telling y'all, it's closer than y'all think. I'm a legal carry every day since I've been shot. I'm 22 right now. I was shot when I was 19 in front of my house. It had nothing to do with me, but it had something to do with my surroundings, the people I hung with. You know what I'm saying? The people that I hung with on a daily basis almost got my life taken. You know what I'm saying? So once again, it's a blessing to see you all here. I'm glad that it's people who care, because I care. You know what I'm saying? I spoke with you. I really mean what I said. And yeah, it's a blessing. And enjoy your life. And please, please, please look into your kids. Thank you.
he was just here for community service. And look, just us talking to this young man and him listening and hearing our stories, he came up to me. You know what he said? He said, "Miss, I want to know how to be a police officer." Just from him standing here listening to us. That's why it's so important for us to talk to him. So it's hope. Hope is out there.
Okay. Lucky they got on. Yeah. Yeah, blue one. Okay, I got some certificate for you guys. Miss Rebecca Harris. You know, if you give me your names, those names that were given to us ahead, those names that were given to us ahead, we got a certificate for you. Saba Branel. I thought I saw Lawrence here. I saw Laurie just now. Lawrence. Mike. It don't matter where they put me. I just feel like it starts with the parents. Adolphus Benjamin Jacob. Solo Brown. Josephine Dwekweda. Wamapusa. Vice President Beatrice Swain. Over there. Show it to the guy over there.
Thank you.
President Cecile Dixon. I beg you, if you get your knee when I give it to us, you can blame me.
Clap now.
Okay. Mr. Gabriel Daniels. Okay. Is Ayo Thompson here? Ayo? Okay. Miss Seattle Johnson Jackson.
Yeah, I would actually.
Mrs. Mary Gay. Oh, you know what? You know what? Sheila. I'll go with it. You know what's in there? No, the world have to know that you have what's in there. Yes. So we have another big program coming up. We'll collaborate with the other groups that are here. We are very pleased for your attendance, and nothing much can be said. But thank you. We appreciate for taking up your time. There's a big program where you collaborate with the other groups that are here. We want to use this time to extend our gratitude and appreciation to the LRTN These guys are very great. They're always there for the Liberian people. We'll try to promote you. Thank you very much. Can we take a picture? Can we take a group photo? Group photos.
Yeah. And that is it for you guys. And this is the just ended forum on gun violence and substance abuse in Philadelphia. This is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. You can follow us on Facebook and also on YouTube. Again, my name is Derek, and you just watched a live coverage of a forum on gun violence and substance abuse.